everybody, and welcome to Bottom Line with Roni and Byron. And today we have a lot of news to get to you. And we're going to start by talking about the tutor who expressed her concern over lack of school resources to the Jackson County School Board.
In national news, we'll talk about the two men that were convicted of killing Malcolm X to be exonerated after the DA found FBI and NYPD withheld evidence.
And then we'll move to sports and talk about the local high school Sneads, who captured their 9th title in the state championship for volleyball.
Entertainment, we'll talk about Will Smith says that he wanted to date Fresh Prince of Bel-Air co-star Karen Parsons, but she told him hell no.
And then we'll move to our relationship tea segment and we'll discuss gratitude. So Byron, we'll get right to it, and we'll start off by talking about the tutor who went before the Jackson County School Board and really voiced her concerns of the lack of school resources. She said that she's seeing an increase in remedial students where it comes to reading. What do you think about that?
Well, yeah, it was interesting to find out that it was an actual hiccup or a lack of resource on that end. But to see that the school board was all engaged to step up and provide that and follow up with this teacher was even more of a plus to see. But I was dumbfounded. I didn't know that these issues was actually a big thing. Now, what I have been getting from parents in the community has been more so with coming back from COVID and some of the issues from minorities and minority families, whether it's their child being retained in the same grade or whether it's, the lack of resources and information that they didn't know were really out there available, getting their kids back into the school system. So to see that was kind of, caught me off guard, but to see them trying to step up and fix that issue was a positive.
Well, let's talk more about this tutor. She actually is a teacher for Florida Virtual School. Her name is Carrie Eaton, but she tutors throughout Jackson County. And she said there's an increase in remedial reading students in 11th and 12th grade. So, which is that is a concern because you're trying to graduate at this time. But she said that there's about 80 to 100 upperclassmen that still haven't passed either the FSA or the ELC, which you have to pass one of them to graduate.
Yeah, and when you look at it, this kind of was to be expected. And the sad thing about it is with COVID and with the pandemic holding things back, a lot of students and a lot of parents don't know that, hey, you can take that ACT as early as I want to say it's like 9th, 10th grade. And you can take it as many times as you want, and they're going to take the highest score regardless. Now, the SAT is a little bit different, but all of these ability to take these tests are so crucial. And sad thing about it, some students that last year they may have been in 11th grade, and now they're seniors, or those that were seniors that didn't get a chance to take it. It really affects their ability to get accepted in the colleges and scholarships and things as such. So, and tutoring is needed all the way across, whether it's junior, seniors, 5th, 4th, 3rd grade. I mean, it's going to be needed all the way across the board because no matter what, there's nothing more important than brick and mortar. Virtual is virtual, but brick and mortar, man, and hands-on learning is just, it has such a gravitational effect more than virtual. And I got 5 of them, and I tried my best, but it's not the same.
It's not the same. We did that route as well.
Yeah, it's rough.
But I thought it was interesting, Byron, that she's a Florida virtual teacher. However, she tutors throughout the county, and I thought it was kind of interesting that she knew there was about 80 to 100 upperclassmen that have not passed either the FSA or the ELC, and nobody else has said anything. So I thought that was kind of, interesting. She did go on to say that she feels there's a lack of resources, a lack of curriculum, and that the kids are, scrambling to graduate. So that's not a good thing.
No, and we're already in. Might as well count this second 9 weeks out of the bank, because you got the holiday seasons coming up and you have like a little short exodus. So you really got the spring, January, and maybe what, 4 or 5 months for these kids to get caught up, and that's a short span of time. So hopefully, something can happen to help these kids out, but it's a short calendar we're working with. So that's 80 to
especially
100
for the seniors.
Yeah, that's a big chunk.
Yeah, for the seniors. She did go on to say that she felt that teacher training would help resolve the issue, and that there should be more emphasis on grammar and using, basically the entire class period. So I thought that was pretty interesting too, for instruction. So implicating that sometimes the entire class period is not used for class instruction. That's what I got out of that statement.
Yeah, and once again, we knew this was coming. We knew we was gonna lose a good chunk of the kids were gonna fall back a good piece, and it just wasn't a secret sauce to how we were gonna come back to school, how we were gonna. This is something that happened in the last 100 years. So, but what needs to happen is got to be a full out, I use my military terminology, but it's got to be a full out assault to address the situation. And you've got to get in pretty much overhyped speed to get these kids that are having these issues to get it up. I mean, kudos to her to coming out and telling the truth and voicing it. Otherwise,
exactly, nobody would say anything.
These kids are the and that's the thing. You got to have people out there that are going to be the voice for the voiceless.
Right.
A lot of these parents, they're struggling just to try to make ends meet,
right,
and they don't have the resources to get out there and say, hey, my kid needs help. And at the same time, they may feel like, because like it might be a normal thing, and she's standing up and saying, no,
this is not normal.
Your kid's supposed to get help, and I'll be the one to get out there and say that. So more people need to come out like her. Because I've told other parents, you might not, I can guarantee you're not the only one that's going through the situation that you're going through. And if you don't say something, it won't get heard. It'll go unnoticed, and your child will fall between the cracks, and you don't want that to happen. So,
well, hopefully they can come together and find the resolution so nobody slips through the cracks. So. Yeah. I want to make sure that everybody knows that the local and state news is brought to you by Brightway Insurance. Brightway Insurance is located in Marianna at 2867 Caledonia Street. They offer property insurance, life insurance, as well as business. Any type of insurance you need, you should call TD and his staff. You can reach them at 850-633-3460, and that's Brightway Insurance. Now, Byron, I want to move to what happened at the Tuesday night Jackson County County Commissioners meeting. They actually passed a resolution to restore the Springfield School. I thought that was pretty interesting. That basically the resolution states to restore and preserve the actual school, which is like a 2-room school, and the 5 acres that it sits on. So it is a cultural and historical site. Matter of fact, back in August, Dale Cox team actually secured a grant to restore that building, which is like $302,000. I don't know if you knew that, Byron, but it's a 2-room, building that was built back in, I think it was like that 1936. It was built, and it was the first African-American school in Jackson County. And so now it's going to be a historical site. Like I said, the commissioners have approved to restore it and to preserve it. But like I said, they've already received the grant back in August, I think it was, to do some restoration. So you can see the picture of the outside. At some point, I'll get some of the inside. I've heard it looks very much similar to how it looked when the kids attended school. So pretty good stuff there. Preserving
that's good
especially
news.
African American history.
Yeah, you know me, I'm a history nut. So
Yeah.
yeah, and kudos to Dale Cox and his team for making it happen. And that's one of the other things, that the same thing with Union Grove. Union Grove was actually a fairly new school when it was built at its time. And now it needs the same uplift. These are historical sites. And the hard part is that most of the alumni, if they're still around, they're up in age. So to the young folk out there, every last one of you connected to these schools, because you have some whether it's a grandparent, great grandparent,
Great
uncle,
grandparents, somebody
aunt,
in your,
you got
yeah,
somebody that yeah, that went to these
yeah,
schools and brought you to the point that you're here today. So it's very important to hold on to these great historical sites, because this is your history. This is what because a lot of people don't know the history of schools, especially the Black schools. They formed out of churches. The churches came together, and pulled their resources together
to
to
form the
build these
school.
schools. And
Yeah.
so yeah, and all of that time, it was a short time span till integration happened. And a lot of instances, these schools were still fairly new, but they got abandoned when schools were integrated. So
Right.
and as time went by, they went down. So we need to definitely do our due diligence to make sure that they are preserved, and we have something to show our offspring and our future, to see where our grandparents actually
Right.
learned and build themselves up to the
Got
point
their
to make us who we are.
education.
So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
The Springfield School is actually owned by Springfield AME Church, which sits right next door. So the old school was located at 4194 Union Road, which is off of 231, and is actually the executive director of Springfield School is Lily Clark. I talked to her earlier, and she expressed her excitement and just joy about what's happening regarding the school. She's been working on this for a very long time, and so she's very excited about the partnerships. I mentioned Dale Cox, but now the county commissioners are getting behind the project and giving their support, and she's just really excited about this, what she told me. So she's very grateful. But we'll have to take a tour out there, Byron, and take a look at it. She's invited me out, and so I'll make sure that you get a chance to see it too. I'm told it's something to see. Some of the old desks are still there, old tables, and so like I said, it was built in 1936 by the local community and completed by the National Youth Administration. It is listed in the Florida Master File, and it is to be preserved as a cultural and historical site. It was originally for, of course, African Americans grade 1 through 8, and then that was used from 1937 to 1956. And then, of course, the kids after that either transferred to Jackson County Training School in Marianna or St. Paul High School in Campbellton. So pretty good stuff there. So if you haven't seen it, she feels honored to show anybody the school. And speaking of historical sites, not only did they talk about Springfield, David Melvin, which is the president of Melvin Engineering, he approached the board and asked them for letters of support to apply for a grant through the African American Cultural and Historical Facilities Grant Program. And what he wants to do is to restore the old St. Luke, which is on Jackson Street, Graham Building, and then also, the Springfield School as well. So he asked them for support, and they basically are saying yes. So I guess the next step is for David Melvin to apply for grants through that program. Have you heard of that program, the African American Cultural and Historical Facilities Grant Program?
I have. It's a
Okay.
bunch of them to it's a lot of resources to tap into for that same reason.
Okay.
The Equity Justice Institute. And the thing is, for these I know people may think the process is lengthy, but it's really not. It's just getting the right heads and bodies together to move forward with getting the process done. So once again, those that are out there that still have these remaining schools, it's only a couple of them that's still left, and but it's plenty of us around. It's plenty of us second generations that are out there that we can help to facilitate to preserve these institutions. So I'm loving to see this. This happening for Springfield, and hey, hopefully we can get Union Grove
No,
up in
St.
there.
Luke, yeah.
Yeah.
If he applies for this grant, like I said, it can restore the old St. Luke, which was severely damaged by Hurricane Michael. I don't know if you've seen it, but it was severely damaged by Hurricane Michael. And then the Graham building. For those three facilities to get restored will definitely preserve our culture here in Jackson County. So I hope that comes to fruition. I hope David Melvin is able to make that happen. And Byron, I want to go ahead and move on. We'll move on to just kind of want to follow up on some things real quick. The redistricting, everybody knows that we've covered that pretty heavily. A press release was released by the county commissioners, kind of giving us a synopsis of what has happened over the last 3 meetings. So we put that on the Facebook page. So please feel free to go out and read it for yourself of what they have said, what has happened and the next step. So that's on Bottom Line with Roni Byron Facebook page. You can read that press release. And if you have any questions, feel free to call myself or Byron, and hopefully we can answer the questions for you. All right. And then I want to move on to Byron. This hits home for you. The school, Malone, has 14 sets of twins. 14 sets of twins, and our very own Byron has 2 of those sets. Hey, all right, Byron, you guys made news regarding that. That was pretty impressive. I don't think they knew that until I guess a teacher was looking at it, and they was like, they thought they had 12, and then someone said, no, there's 14. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, so the shouts out to Doug Powell, the principal from Malone School, and all the staff and the faculty. A great group of people. But yeah, I got contacted and he let me know, hey, we found out we've got like 14 sets of twins, and want to get an article did. And I was like, hey, that's wild. I was like, cool, kudos, but you just make sure you let them know that you may have 14, but you only got one family that got 2 sets of twins. So I was like, hey, shout me out. So it's one triumphant one out there. So, but yeah, it was cool. I tried to get in contact with my daughter. Like, you make sure they pronounce your name right, baby, because we big on that. But yeah, it's wild.
That's amazing though. 14.
When I went to school, I could remember maybe 3 sets of twins.
And Malone is not that big, Byron. I mean,
it's like
it's not that big.
5 plus, it's not even 1,000 kids. So to have that many sets of twins, I imagine it's like double taking everywhere you go for a teacher that's working in there.
Yeah, I think they're saying quite a large portion of the of 14, they're identical. So yeah. Now you don't have identical twins, right?
No, they're all fraternal. Both of them. Well, I got one set that's boy girl, and then my 2 daughters, they're fraternal. But in the early years, people they couldn't tell the difference between them. But as time got, grew, one's a little taller than the other and stuff like that. But they all fraternal.
That's a lot. 14 sets. So that's pretty unique, I would say.
One big family. So hence that's why we've got our own page, and we've got our own Facebook and TikTok.
One big family.
Yeah, so y'all will see me having some fun with the kids and the family, and we'll take on a little adventure with that. So if you get a chance, y'all follow us on Facebook and TikTok. One Big Family, the Dickens. So yeah, we just give people a little insight on what we go through with a family of 2 sets of twins. So
I'm sure it's pretty interesting, Byron.
Oh yeah. All
right. Well, I'm going to move on. I want to talk to you. There's an event coming up, Byron, next weekend. It's basically, it's called the Stellars Satsuma's first annual Farm Day. It's have you heard of that? It's basically a Satsuma farm, and you can go out and you can pick them. yourself. They're actually going to have live music, bouncy house, hay rides, and vendors. So that's located at 5779 Sellers Road in Marietta. And I talked to the owner. Her name is Jessica Milan. And I asked her, was this a family owned farm? And she said, yeah. And it's been in the family for like 75 years. And I don't know if you know this, but they Jackson County has not really had a Satsuma farm since the 1920s. So this is a pretty big deal that's happening with this event. And so I just want to kind of mention that again. It's November the 27th, which is next Saturday, and the time is from 10 to 5 p.m. Again, the location is 5779 Sellers Road in Marietta, and it's called the Sellers Satsuma's first annual farm day. And you can go out and pick your own Satsumas, and it say you pick them is what they say. That's how they say it. You pick them. But the charge is like, if you pick like 15 pound, it's $15. If you pick like 25 pounds, it's $25. So
okay,
pretty cool. Yeah. So I just want to mention that because I love Satsumas. I don't know if you do, but I do. I love Satsumas.
Yeah, I do.
All right, and then I want to go on to some more serious holiday news regarding the numbers for Jackson County where it comes to car accidents. I reached out to FHP's public affairs officer, Jason King, and got some pretty disturbing numbers, Byron. The holidays are coming up, and they're trying to warn everybody to be safe drivers and what to do and what not to do. And take a look at this, or take a listen at these numbers. So Byron, in 2019 for Jackson County, they had 19 fatal crashes with 23 lives lost. Okay. That was in 2019. 2020, they had 21 fatal crashes with 22 lives lost. And then right now where we are, 2021, there are 13 fatal crashes with 15 lives lost, and we still have another almost a month and a half left to go in the year. Unfortunately, in the Panama City District for FHP, there are 6 counties. There's Jackson County, Bay, Calhoun, Washington, Guff, and Holmes, and we rank number 2 in the county where it comes to fatal crashes, Byron. So that's not a good record to have. So I reached out to him and asked him what does he want the public to know, and this is what he said.
Hello, this is Lieutenant Jason King with the Florida Highway Patrol. And as we approach the holiday season, we want to remind motorists to slow down, be aware of their surroundings, and let's wear our seatbelts because they really do save lives. As we start to travel to see family, check our tires and our tire pressure and our tire wear to ensure we have good tires as we drive, because that is the foundation to safe driving across these roadways. Finally, let's help reduce the number of fatal crashes we had during November and December of last year, which was over 1,000, by not driving impaired. If you're going to drink and enjoy the holiday season, please reach out to Uber, Lyft, taxis, or any other means to get home safely. Remember our goal: safety is always in season, and let's arrive alive during Thanksgiving and Christmas. Happy holidays, everyone.
Okay, so again, we're number 2. I think I said in crashes, but we're number 2 in fatal crashes, Byron. So again, I hope everybody take heed to what Officer King has said and drive safely during the holiday season.
All right, I'm gonna caveat on that one. I had one of my old commanders. He used to, when he first would say it, it seemed kind of lame, but then it started to hit home after about the 3rd or 4th time. But safety. Make that be your number 1 priority whenever you're going in the world. My youngest set of twins, anytime I leave the house, they'll say, "Don't crash," and I don't care what you do. You hear that little voice of your little ones when you're driving and say, "Don't crash." So I stay on the speed limit. But defensive driving, everybody, this holiday season, please be safe. You'll get there. Don't
arrive alive. Yeah, that's what they say. Arrive alive. Yeah, no matter where you're going, arrive alive. That should be the goal.
Yeah, you'll get there.
All right, let's move on to some state news, Byron. The Florida legislature did pass a series of bills bills restricting the government's ability to enforce vaccine and mask mandates, Byron. There's a series of 4 bills passed by the Florida House and Senate that will prohibit COVID-19 vaccination mandates for government and public education employees, as well as for private businesses. So, it's been a battle regarding this mask mandate and vaccinations. And I think our governor has pretty much found a way to kind of put an end to it. What do you think?
I'm curious. I'm pretty sure that's going to get challenged in the Supreme Court. I'm not. It may be one of the same situation with these other cases before, where it may not hold up. I don't know. That I've never seen where a Florida, like a state, law will override federal. I don't know. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But I'm pretty sure somebody's going to challenge it, and we'll see where it goes. It's one of those tit for tat, this for that things going on with Governor DeSantis and President Biden. So
Right.
I know I know they're saying he's looking for a run at 2024. So we'll see. But the bill that was passed in the state legislature basically thwarts off the vaccine mandates for businesses and within the school systems, correct?
Right. It prohibits mask mandates in public schools and protects unvaccinated employees from losing their jobs to federal mandates.
And for private businesses, the same thing?
Yeah. It says it's introduced in a direct response to Biden's mandating federal employees of private businesses with a workforce of at least 100 people and medical professionals. Yeah. So you fully vaccinated. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if that'll hold up.
Well, the White House has said that the vaccine mandates aim to ensure that about 100 million U.S. workers are vaccinated in order to save lives. So, that's their goal. However, it's being perceived differently. Yeah, so that's pretty interesting. So that's, it's been going back and forth. We'll have to just keep watching and see how it ends up. Okay. Well, and that's going to be it for our local and state news. Again, local and state news is brought to you by Brightway Insurance, which is located in Marianna. They offer property, life, auto, business insurance. Any insurance needs that you have, please contact TD Horn and his staff. You can reach them at 850-633-3460. And again, they're located in Marianna at 2867 Caledonia Street. And they're open Monday through Friday from 9 to 5 and on Saturdays by appointment only. And tell TD you heard us here at Bottom Line with Roni Byron talking about him and his great service. All right, what you have for national?
So for national news, before I begin, I want to talk about People's Funeral Home. People's Funeral Home, because we care, we are here when you need us. Long Granbury Funeral Services Incorporated, doing business as People's Funeral Home, Marianna and Battle Mortuary, Panama City, offers services that is within the reach of all. Our caring staff is available 24/7 when the need arises. Their services are designed to commemorate the life being remembered at a price suitable for all. Give Cephas and Gwen a call at 850-482-2233 or simply stop by for more information. It's People's Funeral Home. So the first story I want to get into is Travis Scott's career over. Rapper faces $750 million lawsuit over World's tragedy as brand steps back. So everybody's taking a step back. He had a shoe deal that's supposed to come out with Nike. They stepped back ever since this unfortunate tragedy. Ended up being a total of 10 lives lost, to include a 9-year-old young boy. This is one of the things where I just said, hey, when I looked at it, I don't know if you will hear from Travis Scott ever again. We've heard of one-hit wonders, but not 10 deaths. Like I said, this is becoming more equivalent to a active shooter incident rather than a concert. You definitely, just out of the 10 lives that were lost, to think that nobody was gonna take this legally and sue, that's out of the question. And now you've got other people concert goers that have filed multiple lawsuits that have equated up to the 750 million, and that don't mean it's gonna stop. So it's just one of those things where if you properly plan and execute it, and didn't try to promote this persona, and just did the proper things and did to the proper channels, it's when it happened. You wouldn't have lost lives. But needless to say, it's one of those sad instances, and I think it's going to be more, and it probably just won't rest at like we said before. It's not going to just rest at Travis Scott. It may end up being the label, maybe every entity involved, Live Nation, Epic Records,
the promoter as well, by our Live
Yeah.
Nation. Yeah, Live Nation. Yeah.
I mean, matter of fact, the lawsuit also named Live Nation and named Epic Records, even the rapper Drake and Apple as defendants of their involvement in the organization of the festival. So it's not gonna stop. Sad thing, but it was to be expected. Yeah. So my next story is about Malcolm X. So 2 men convicted of killing Malcolm X to be exonerated after the DA found FBI and NYPD withheld evidence. So this is one of those things where people, I'm, like I said, I'm a big history nut. 2 men who spent decades in prison for the murder of the civil rights leader Malcolm X, which they always denied not having any part, will have their convictions thrown out. DA Cy Vance and attorneys for Muhammad Aziz and the late Khalil Islam will jointly move Thursday, this past Thursday, to vacate their 1966 convictions. So one of the gentlemen that admitted to the crime, he always stated that those 2 men weren't involved, and this all spurred out from a Netflix series that came out that brought question to who actually killed Malcolm X. And it was believed that there were 5 gentlemen that were involved in the murder of Malcolm X, but since then, those I think it was 4 out of the 5 men died. So there's really the question of who actually killed Malcolm X is still out there. Now, to give some context to it, there's a book called Active State by William Pepper. And another book, he had a previous book called Orders to Kill, and it gives you the truth. And there was an actual trial and hearing finding out who was actually responsible for Dr. King's murder. So in this book, it breaks down who was actually involved in the murder of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And it's very interesting. And now you're starting to see the story of Malcolm X actually come out. And the King family was actually trying to get the conviction of James Earl Ray overturned, but he died of cancer in the midst of the trial. So years later, the truth may start coming out, and we'll find out what actually happened. But these 2 men have been exonerated, and it's interesting to see what'll come out after the fact, to find out who was actually involved in the murder of Malcolm X.
So Byron, one of the men had died, right? One of the men they exonerated died.
Yes, one of the men died in 2009. Islam was paroled in 87. He died in 2000. He was paroled in 85, and he's still alive. He's 83 years old right now. So he's still. And alive.
He's still saying he's innocent, right?
He's always maintained his innocence. He's said that it's very important to find out the truth about who killed Malcolm X, and he's always maintained that the justice system has always been what it is, and he's maintained his innocence from the very beginning. So that's interesting. But like I said, if you ever get that book, I've got it in Active State, and the King family actually went and they did a whole trial, and they couldn't go criminally because, once again, James Ray had passed. So they could only go civilly, and all they wanted, I think in the end, was that they went for like $100, $100 or something like that, because they just wanted the truth to come out. And,
but didn't James Earl Ray say he did not do it, like on his deathbed? Didn't he?
Yeah, he always maintained that he didn't do it, and the book really breaks down, what he had been saying the whole time. the events that led up to the assassination, and he had names and people that he had talked to, et cetera, et cetera. But even the rifle that he was convicted of using, it wasn't even zero. So for people that are familiar with weapons, with rifles, in order for it to shoot something around accurately, it has to be, that rifle has to be, adjusted to your sights. And that's what they call zero on a rifle. If it's not zero, you just shooting and it won't hit anything that you're aiming at. So it was one of those things. I mean, it really goes in detail. And they won and proved who was actually involved. And needless to say, that never hit the news media, it never hit major networks, but the King family won in court and proved that, who was actually responsible for the death of Dr. Martin Luther King. So I'm assuming that this process may play out as well, and hopefully it'll get more attention than the King case did. But
we'll have to keep watching that one, because that's pretty interesting, I think. Yeah, I mean, so many years have passed by, and we still don't know the truth in either case. So that's it's pretty sad, I think.
Yeah, it is. And so in my last story, the lawsuit, Baldwin had no reason to fire in the Russ shooting. So I know I hadn't talked about it because it's getting a lot of major coverage, but actor Alec Baldwin, was involved in a shooting where they had a prop gun when they were shooting the movie Rust. It was a Western movie. And in the process, he shot a young woman that was working on the set and injured another male and killed the woman. So she was a cinema photographer by the name of Helena Hutchins, and the director name was Joel Souza of on the New Mexico set of the film Rust that was injured. Now, knew this was coming. And there was another lady that she's taking a lawsuit, even though the husband of Hutchins is not as of yet. But my point is, with this whole entire story is, I know I'm speaking from a military perspective, but there's no firearms instructor anywhere that would approve somebody handing off a loaded weapon and you do not check that weapon to ensure that it's a clear weapon and don't have a live round in it. And from this testimony from this lady that's taking lawsuit, she's saying that there wasn't even anything in the script that regarded to Alec Baldwin even shooting a weapon. And secondly, they're professing that he should have checked that weapon, as well as the armorer that handed him the weapon should have checked it as well. So all of this plays out into his exact hand. I said, look, proper planning permits poor performance. If you don't, I mean, you don't take over a loaded weapon and then just start willy-nilly pulling the trigger like it's okay. And unfortunately, it led to the death of somebody. So,
did you say that they didn't have a scene that was shooting? Did you say they didn't have a scene that required a gun?
Yeah, they did not have in that scene. There was nowhere in the script that it required for him to use a weapon and shoot it. Needless to say, yeah.
Wow,
So,
I didn't know that.
We'll see what comes out next in this case this lawsuit that's about to emerge. But that is what's coming from this new lawsuit that's coming against Alec Baldwin, and there's nobody disputing it. It's actually a recording where the director is saying this, that they're making a point that, hey, I never put anything in the script for him to even shoot a weapon in that scene. And needless to say, somebody dies. And there's been a lot of people coming out saying that how the safety on the set was an issue. A lot of people left. A lot of people didn't, felt unsafe because they just weren't doing things properly. So that's
you and I talked about that offline. And first of all, I assumed, and this is my own past experience being, on movie sets as extras, but I just assumed they were all props. I never imagined that they were, real life guns. So
yeah, I never assumed that there would be a need to have a live round.
Yeah, why would you? Why would you? That's not smart. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, that's unfortunate what happened.
But that's my yeah. I mean, and like I say, when people don't, it's it's just simple as, covering down and making sure you're doing the right things and not being complacent. But sad to say, when you do these things, it costs people lives. But anyway, that was entertainment segment, and entertainment segment was brought to you by People's Funeral Home. Because we care, we're here when you need us. Long Granbury Funeral Services Incorporated, doing business as People's Funeral Home, Mariana and Battle Mortuary, Panama City, offers services that is within the reach of all. Our caring staff is available 24/7, and when the need arises, their services are designed to commemorate the life being remembered at a price suitable for all. Give Cephas and Gwen a call at 850-482-2233, or simply stop by for more information. It's People's Funeral Home.
All right, we'll move on to sports, and we want to start off by congratulating the Sneads Lady Pirates volleyball team for winning their 9th straight state championship. I mean, that deserves a round of applause. Man, that is a huge, huge accomplishment. Man, hats off to Coach Heather Edge and her team for going to Fort Myers and pulling it off. Byron, I think there is one other team in the country that may have had 20 straight. I'm told that. So, but yeah, but 9 is nothing to, turn your nose up at. I mean, that is huge. Huge.
Listen, 9 is fine. What about the state? I know it can't be. They've got to have the most dominant, 1A program in the state of Florida. No matter
in the state of Florida, yeah.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah.
Yeah, nine straight. 9. Let that be. Everybody in Jackson County should be sharing posts. We got to get this on ESPN somehow. But 9.
Yeah, we've been trying. You and I've been trying.
Championship titles. Oh, we've been trying. Yeah, we've been trying. So we're gonna keep hammering. We're gonna do our end, our due diligence. But I mean, I I can't express how proud it is. How much of a great feeling it is to see and have that representation, to go down and represent Jackson County like that. Hey, I know the feeling of winning, to giving it your all and doing it 9 times is amazing. I mean, the coaching staff to just be able to continue that ride, hey, and keep going. Let's see if we can break that 20 record, But and it just it's a lasting thing for those young women, because that's gonna carry throughout the rest of their lives, the achievement that they accomplish. So let's make sure we if nobody else does, we make sure that we give them a great thank you and a big celebration for the hard work and dedication they put into. So put our own horns, and don't nobody do it loud enough. We need to make sure we scream loud enough for our girls. So yes, Sneads Lady Pirates volleyball team.
Speaking of screaming about it, they did send us this video. Like, you guys take a look at this. They're in the limo, so take a look at this. Yeah, so there you have it. Our girls are, enjoyed themselves while after the game, post game, and they're riding around in a limo, and just they deserve it. They really do deserve it. So again,
show up, have a good time.
Yeah, have a good time. Enjoy the fruit of your labor. So again, hats off to Heather Edge. And I'm going to say this. There may have been some questions when Sheila Roberts left and Heather Edge took over. Sheila had it for I think 6 years, I think. 6 years, because Heather has had it for 3. So you kind of question. I'm sure some question. The first year Heather Edge, Coach Edge won it. Was it based on talent? From the previous coach, or is she just that good of a coach? So I think this is a year that proved it. This is her 3rd title. I think she, this is what we can say. Yeah. she's a good coach.
Mm.
Yeah, she's just as good. So hats off to you, Coach Edge. I'm, very happy for you that you're able to continue the legacy and the dynasty that the Sneads volleyball team has built over the years. So good. And speaking of volleyball champions, of course, Sneads was 1A champions, and Mosley, right down the street, they won 5A. This is their first state title. They won 5A championship. So, Panhandle went down. Those are the other two teams from the Panhandle that went to Fort Myers for the state volleyball championship, and both of them came back as champions. That's a lot to be said.
Sweet. Yeah, we showing out.
Going out, yeah. All right, let's move on to some high school football regional semi-final action that will take place on tonight. I do want to make sure I understand you guys that Sneads won on yesterday. And then Mosley won on Wednesday. So just make sure we understand that. But tonight, there is some semifinal action going on. Shipley will be taking on Holmes County. That game will be in Shipley at 7:30. Shipley is 7-3 and Holmes County is 6-5. So again, that is a regional semifinal. That game is in Shipley. And then Blountstown is also in the regional semifinal. They played Liberty County. Blountstown only lost one game. They're 8-1, and Liberty County is 9-2. That game is in Blountstown at 7 p.m. So that game should be pretty good, Byron. Should be pretty good. And then the winner of those games advance on to the regional finals, okay, which I think is next week, the 26th. All right, and then we do have the college football action going on. Byron, you do know this weekend is the Classic, right, for FAMU and Bethune-Cookman in Orlando?
Oh, yeah.
Classic weekend, yes. That game is on Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. Well, it's going to be on ESPN 3 at 2:30 on Saturday. So that's a big game. I used to go when I was in college to the Classic in Orlando. Lots of fun. They have events all week. And so that should be pretty good. But the Florida Classic, that is this weekend on Saturday. Florida and BC. Now it's a new name, BCU, Bethune-Cookman. So look out for that game. And then the rest of the action on Saturday will be Florida State takes on Boston College in Boston College. That game is at 11 a.m. On the ACC network. And then you have Georgia Tech at Notre Dame. That game is at 1:30 on NBC. Then you have Virginia Tech at Miami at 6:30 on ACC network. Wake Forest is at Clemson at 11 a.m. on ESPN. And then Charleston Southern is at Georgia on ESPN Plus at 11 a.m. Florida is at Missouri at 3 p.m. Let's see, Arkansas is at Alabama at 2:30 p.m. on CBS. And then Auburn is at South Carolina at 6 p.m. on ESPN. So those are your games for tomorrow, Saturday. Okay, AP poll for week 12, guys. We're in week 12 of college football. So number 1 is Georgia, number 2 is Alabama, number 3 is Cincinnati, number 4 is Oregon, number 5 is Ohio State, number 6 is Notre Dame, number 7 is Michigan State, number 8 is Michigan, number 9 is Oklahoma State, number 10 is Ole Miss. So that tops out your top 10 in the AP poll for college football. Okay. All right. I want to mention, you guys, if you're looking for a car, check out Travis Russ over at Marietta Toyota. Travis Russ can find you what you need, and you can give him a call at 850-209-7051. He's a great salesman and a personable salesman, and he can, again, whatever car you're looking for, give him a call. He can find it, 850-209-7051. That's Travis Russ at Marietta Toyota. And they're located on Penn Avenue, 2961 Penn Avenue in Marietta. All right, what do you have for entertainment, Byron?
So entertainment, speaking of entertainment, 2X TV is an off-beaten path streaming travel channel. Dale Cox and the 2X TV team take you on digital adventures in Florida, Georgia, and Alabama with travel features and documentaries. You can watch 2X TV on YouTube, Roku, and 2XTV.com. That's 2XTV.com. So in the hip hop world, faced another death. Rapper Young Dolph was fatally shot at a Tennessee cookie shop. This rapper Young Dolph, widely admired in hip hop community for his authenticity and fierce independence, he was shot and killed Wednesday inside a beloved local cookie shop. He was there to visit his aunt. She was sick with cancer, and he was actually giving out Thanksgiving turkeys as well. The sad thing about this, and what just brings this story to my attention, is it's getting me to the point where I'm gonna have to change genres, because you know, me coming up, the biggest death when it came to rappers was Tupac and Biggie, and it seemed like rap beef was like just gonna be done with. Now it's like all of these young rappers are, you know, getting murdered left and right. So it's just one of these things. When the hip hop community, we something's got to happen. They keep these
But
young
what's the
brothers from
reason?
getting
What
murdered
I
left
mean,
and
is there
right.
a
I mean, it's
motive?
almost like at this point, right now, the Memphis PD, they don't have any information on who the potential shooters are. The statement from Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland was that the tragic shooting death of the rapper is another reminder of the pain of violence brings with it. Just last week, the cookie shop posted a video on Instagram of the rapper promoting the store's cookies. Yeah, that
So
right
it's an
now
actual cookie
they don't
shop,
have
right?
any suspects. An actual cookie shop, and he was there, you know, giving out turkeys, and you know, was there to visit his grandmother that was sick with cancer. So, yeah, right now
That's
they don't
crazy.
have any suspects. Yeah, so they have no information to release, but it's a shame, you know. We got something got to happen with all these young rappers getting. It's almost like a prerequisite now, you know, in the rap world. So something's got to change. But you know, we really got to police this and find out like what's the deal. Why all of a sudden every rapper's getting, you know, young rappers getting murdered. I mean, my son, you know, he was listening to one, and I was like, well, he got killed. Who got? I was like, golly, the only rappers we known of was Tupac and Biggie. Nobody else was getting
Yeah,
murdered, you know.
yeah.
But yeah, in other news, Will Smith says he wanted to date Fresh Prince of Bel-Air co-star Karen Parsons, but she told him hell no. Karen Parsons played his cousin. What was the name? The ditzy name? Yeah, Uncle Phil, Aunt Viv, the three cousins, Hillary Banks. That was the
Hillary.
one that played
I was
Hillary
trying to
Banks.
think of it. Hillary. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so
But he
he
dated Nia
described her as the
Long
least experienced.
during that
Yeah, he
time.
did.
During that time. Yeah.
He's he said she was the least experienced next to him, and that she beat out a slew of Hollywood big hitters to win her role. He said, but she was smart enough to tell me hell no. He said, when I tried to explain that we were not really cousins, you know, so it'll be fine. But he ended up, when she shot him down, he ended up marrying his first wife, Cherie Zampino, and from the taping A Different World. And then they had a son, Trey Smith. He was born in 92, and then he eventually divorced her, and he met Jada Pinkett Smith, and then they had their two, Jada and Willow.
And then his
So
ex-wife
yeah,
married Mark,
he
right?
wanted to bring out that. I
The
believe
ex-wife
so.
married
Yeah, I
Mark.
believe so.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Hmm.
That's
I think
crazy.
that's how it happened.
But yeah, he did shoot a shot, but she shot it down, shot him back. So shot outside a wheel on that one. So in my last story, TV legend, I know we talked about it before, so it's really a follow-up, but TV legend LeVar Burton, he lands a game show hosting gig after all that debacle with Jeopardy. So he landed a gig for the show called Trivial Pursuit, which is a Hasbro board game. They're actually looking for a home network to air the show, but LeVar Burton is going to be the guy. And right now, Trivial Pursuit, you know, is one of the best known brands in the gaming universe. So he's thrilled, he's excited, and so are we. So look forward to seeing my good brother LeVar Burton, man. Reading Rainbow was my thing growing up. So I'm looking forward to seeing where this show will land and get to watch him do his thing. He's been wanting to get on that game show host gig, and he's finally landed one. So shouts out to LeVar Burton.
Good for him.
Yeah. So this segment, once again, was brought to you by Two Egg TV. Two Egg TV is an off-beaten path streaming travel channel. Dale Cox and the Two Egg team take you on the digital adventures in Florida, Georgia, and Alabama with travel features and documentaries. So you can watch Two Egg TV on YouTube, Roku, and twoeggtv.com. That's twoeggtv.com.
All right, very good. We'll move on to our relationship tea segment. And today we're going to talk about gratitude. You know, we are approaching the Thanksgiving holiday. And so we just kind of want to talk about being grateful and coming from a place of gratitude as much as possible in your everyday lives, not just waiting till you get to Thanksgiving or some special occasion. But Byron, I think if we look at our lives and we look around us, we can really, say we should be grateful.
I agree. Yeah.
So we got to just, and that's, that takes practice. It takes, learning. It takes training, and like anything, it's a training of your mind and training of your attitude to get to that point where you can say, hey, you know what? When something's, comes to your mind and try to get you out of focus or in a bad way, you're like, nope, no. I'm going to look at this. I have movement, I can walk, I can talk, I can pick up the phone, I can talk to this person, I have a job, I have a roof over my head. You just have to remind yourself on a daily basis, of what you have. And that will promote you to smile and say, you know what? I'm sure someone else has it much worse than I do. So I'm grateful.
Yeah. It's one of those jewels of building, resiliency, and when you can be thankful, you can, when you have gratitude for the things that you have, and even the things that you don't have, it kind of, it makes you stronger. It makes you stronger.
Right. Yeah. You're not complaining. Complaining.
Your heart's at ease. Yeah. So.
Yeah. And that's a good place to be. That's a peaceable place to be when you can find yourself in that situation where you're just kind of like, okay, you can let things kind of roll off. And sometimes it's hard, but I think, like I said earlier, it's a way, you have to find a way to do it. You have to practice it. You have to make it become a lifestyle where you can just kind of brush things off and not dismiss things. You do acknowledge what happened, but you can't stay in there. You can't stay in that circle. You have to, of your circumstance, you have to get yourself out of the circle and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to put somebody else in a circle. Let's see how I can help somebody else. That tends to help you too. So, Byron, we're going to talk more about gratitude and being thankful in our special segment next week. We're going to do a special relationship tea segment next week. We're going to have our families around us, and we're going to just kind of go around and just give thanks for everything that we're grateful for, each of us. And so we invite you guys to tune in next week and for that special segment of relationship tea on being thankful. Speaking of, I want to make sure everybody knows that we've just started the community calendar as well. So if you have any community events that you want us to highlight, on our Facebook page, send them to us by 5:00 on Friday, and it will start airing 2 days later on that following Sunday. So just email it to bottomlinewithroniandbyron@gmail.com, and we can get it on our community calendar. All right, we're going to see you next week. And remember, when you know the truth, you can speak the truth, and the light shines brighter when it shines for two. We'll see you next week.